Welcome to Bespoke Diaries. Today's article is on Born to Write. The Journey Along the Way, by Catherine Mellen, blogger, writer, USA. The only books Catherine could read at home were either the newspaper, the encyclopedia set, a dictionary, or whatever textbook she took home from school for the day. She had no nursery rhyme books, no Dr. Seuss books, no books about Cinderella, Snow White, or Disney for her to read. No alphabet, number, or shape books. Her love of books started with the Riff bus. It pulled up to whatever school she was attending. Right before Christmas break and right before school was out for the summer, she could always count on the Reading is Fundamental bus to show up. They were allowed to take up to 2 books at a time, and sometimes she left with 3 books. From Judy Blume, Escape from Witch Mountain, and Nancy Drew Mysteries. She loved her books. Then everything she owned as a child was tossed out to the trash as she was abandoned, and her life continued without her family. She was 14 years old when she wrote her first poem, Flying Free, a poem she wrote about a bird who escaped abuse and finally flew free. The poem was about the morning she ran to her friend's house years earlier in 1981. She was the bird. As years went on, Catherine wrote more poems and started a journal. One journal for one life, right? By age 18 she had over 40 poems under her belt. She knew what she wanted to be, a writer. It was something she loved, and she quickly found herself sending 1 poem, 2 poem, 3 poems and more to numerous poetry contests she would see in her local newspaper. And suddenly she was receiving awards and encouragements on her writing. One of her poems was published in the Anthology of Great Poems in 1989, and she went on to win a poetry contest selected by Ed McMahon himself. Catherine was 19 years old and on her way to writing career. She was invited to a big gala event where she would receive her award, meet other talented writers, poets, and give a speech about her love of writing. She was so super excited to attend this event, which was being held in Maryland. She shopped for a dress, shoes, and made arrangements with her work. She started to look for a motel she could stay at while she was in Maryland when her boyfriend at the time questioned her, something that changed her whole career choice. "What are you going to tell them about your family life?" he questioned her. She just looked at him speechless for a few minutes. "They won't ask me about that," she answered him. "You become a famous writer, then everyone will know," he told Catherine. "Paparazzi find out anything they want," he continued before going into the bathroom and shutting the door. Her heart sunk into her stomach fell to her feet. Her mind raced, her anxiety soared, and doubt filled her head. "I'm not that good. The world has better writers. I'm not worth it. No one will like me. Everyone will know what I lived through." And just like that, her writing career ended. She never went to Maryland, she never accepted the HR award, didn't meet Ed McMahon, and became a closet writer for the next 30 years. She didn't give up on writing, but she did give up on becoming a writer. As the years went by, she continued to write in journals, and she continued trying to explain a promise she made to a friend. 1 journal, 2 journals, 3 journals, 4. Her nightstand drawer filled up. Pieces of paper with poems and another notebook filled up. Catherine would smile at the fact if she should die young, she would not die a secret. Her horrible childhood is written in those journals. Her beautiful poetry sat in her nightstand drawer. Her promise to a friend explained over and over again. It would all be read once she died. She wouldn't die a secret, and that was her inside smile she reminded herself every single day. She wouldn't die a secret. As much as she hated it took a car accident and a painful neck injury to bring out the repressed memories she experienced. In some sense, she also knew it was the needle in a haystack towards her recovery. Unfortunately, the road was long, overwhelming, draining, and full of I want to quit moments, but she didn't give up, and she is so glad she didn't. She started out with paper, ink, and ended up with a multitude of journals, notebooks, and sheets of paper. Then she moved on to an electric typewriter. She started typing to help her cope with the horrible memories she was dealing with. She didn't pay attention to the font, spaces, or punctuation. The smallest, lightest page after page of words. leaving her with bundles of improperly written manuscripts. Then she gave in. You got it, she rewrote her memoir, her poetry and her other manuscripts. It was like an 18-wheeler kept driving over her with each page she edited and rewrote correctly. So draining, exhausting and never-ending. She now has 2 nightstand drawers, a closet shelf and a Tupperware storage container, all which hold her handwritten work, her bundles of improperly typed manuscripts and multiple copies of her properly typed work, along with her online, offline and SD copies of all her work. It feels so much better to be living not a secret rather than waiting until she died. Writing is in her blood, it always was. She just never had a chance to be her. Until one day she became a needle in a haystack. And now her words spill onto the pages like a bird finally flying free. Flying high as a bird can be, a silent cry as the bird goes free. A desperate scream as the bird goes by, all broken dreams built on goodbyes. Flying high on its own, trying to forget all the sorrow. Facing the world all alone, with the lonely days of tomorrow. Flying high at its own pace, flying high and flying free. Knowing someone somewhere. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Do leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For similar type of article please reach us at contact@thebespokediaries.com or you can visit our website www.thebespokediaries.com.